Well, let's kick things off in the kitchen today because we want to meet Gina, who is from right here in the Valley. She is a talented chef behind Gina's Homemade Biscotti. Now, Hollywood party planners caught wind of her and they invited Gina to the Movie Guide Awards in LA, and they hired her to create some one-of-a-kind biscotti bags for each guest. Gina is also the founder of Gina's Homemade right here in the Valley. Perhaps you know about it and maybe you've been down there. So if you are known for fussing for recipes and from old Italy with your modern day cooking savvy, well then you probably have something in common with Gina because she does the same thing. And today she's going to show us how to make some fresh mozzarella, which, by the way, sounds rather difficult, but I'm told it's actually not. It's just a little bit of work involved, and then it's
what we're actually
easy.
doing here is the end result. This is the fun part. It's the stretching of the mozzarella.
Okay.
To get to this, which is our curd, a little bit more difficult of a process. You have to start with the milk and citric acid and put different things in.
What is the citric acid?
It is what binds this. It helps get the whey out and bind to the cheese, and then you put the rennet in that help in the pulling of the curd. Now, if you don't have your proportions right, if you don't have your temperatures right, you have no curd, you have no mozzarella. So this is an easy process, but a quite technical process, quite finicky.
Okay.
But I brought the curd done. We've got our water. You need hot water. You put salt in it. Some people use sea salt, table salt. I prefer kosher salt, just a preference.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to take hot water.
Now that you're keeping at a steady temperature of about 160.
If you cannot go above, I believe it's 175 or 180,
Okay.
you'll mush your curds. And
How
it won't
interesting.
cook.
You just took a little bit of water out and then instantly it went from 160 to 155.
Absolutely. And we're going to now drain it in here. And you'll see how the curds will start to get a little bit more elastic. We're starting with the
Should I
cold.
slip these gloves on?
Please. Because it doesn't
No, I'm wearing them
take
only
long.
because she says it's warm. Otherwise,
Well,
let's
we're
be
going to
honest,
put
I
your
wouldn't wear it.
hands in about 155 degrees. So you do this all day. If you'll see how, that the water isn't as milky looking because we're start pulling, warming it up. And this
where'd you
next
learn to
one-
do this?
Oh God, my mother is a phenomenal cook. My grandfather, who was right off the boat a bazillion years ago from Italy, he was a phenomenal cook. You'll see he had restaurants, grocery stores back in Detroit. First pizza delivery,
Oh,
which
is that
they
right?
never, Domino's came in and Little Caesars, but so it's in the blood.
Okay.
Eat big, huge family dinners every weekend, and
So as a little girl, do you remember cooking alongside them and preparing things?
I remember my favorite was roasting red peppers and peeling them. And it's funny because inside some of the peppers, there'll be baby peppers.
Okay.
And I loved the baby peppers, not to eat just because they were little. And I see my 7-year-old will say, "Mommy, any babies? Are we roasting your peppers? Are there any babies?" And she keeps them in a little bag for as long
It's
as she
those
can.
kind of like generational stories
really
around the
is.
kitchen that I think make the best
It's a
recipes.
huge difference. And I find that when I was first married, I'm going to have you feel this just so you
Okay.
can see how it's getting a little elasticy and stretchy. Just knead it like you would any dough.
You know what it feels a little bit like, if I can describe it to viewers? If you were to take glue when it's sort of drying out, but it's not completely dried out, that's what it feels
See
like.
that? And see, now we're going to start stretching. I'm going to drain it and put
Okay.
more hot water to
Okay.
get a good stretch because we started with cold curd. If you start with warm curd, this process is a little quicker.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
an Elmer's glue consistency after it's kind of been sitting out for a little bit, and if it were to
Now
get
you're
kind of
really going to
elasticy
see
and not
this.
as sticky.
I'm going to see how it's all coming together. A little messy. I'm going to let you knead that, and then we're going to pull it, and you're going to
Okay. Okay.
look at that. See that? How it's all coming
Oh,
out.
look at
Fold it
that.
in half.
Okay, fold it.
Put it in the hot
Put it back.
water.
Okay.
Pick it up. Fold it. There you go.
You weren't kidding about it being really, really warm water.
Oh yeah, and I usually. You can.
Oh, now when it breaks
It's all right.
apart,
You're
what
fine.
happens?
Now that's the other thing with mozzarella. If you're
I
not,
listen.
you're all right. If the mozzarella starts to get, you're looking for the shiny consistency. If it starts to pull and you get this grainy, you are not done pulling. You need to heat it up. Okay. You can always go straight. I wasn't
into-
doing this because I didn't want you to burn your hands, but do you see how shiny?
Yes.
And you're getting the layers. Now this, and because of the salt in the water, you're salted. I mean, look at that. You'll have
Wow.
this beautiful fresh mozzarella that really, I mean, it just doesn't take that much time. And when you're done, we're going to, if you wouldn't mind getting me that water right here next
This one
to
right
no,
here?
this one right here.
This one? Okay.
This is cold water. When you're done, and you've got this nice, beautiful, smooth
Shiny,
mozzarella,
no little
shiny,
grainy places.
well, that's going to take a little bit more time. So we're just going to finish off the bowl, and we're
Okay.
just put it right in there.
Now,
And
why are
it's
you
gonna
putting it in the
set
cold?
Because the cold water sets it.
Okay.
And then you can refrigerate it. Mind you, I did that one big bulk just
Sure.
for TV, but you can break off pieces, do smaller balls, and this is your end result, these beautiful mozzarellas.
Ooh, look at that.
Now we're going to take them out, and if you would like, you can slice them, put them on top of the tomatoes we already have sliced.
Okay.
These tomatoes are Romas and Vine. Personally prefer heirlooms. They just taste better, but the season is not great. You can find heirlooms at the farmers markets. A lot of the local farmers do have them. But
You know, I'm going to take these gloves off.
yes,
Makes it easier to work.
absolutely. We're done with the water.
Okay. Take your fresh basil.
Absolutely. Now, some people with seasoning just
I missed that
prefer the olive oil and the vinegar, or just olive oil. I personally prefer to put a little salt and pepper. I'm going to get this out of your way.
Wow. I've never seen this prepared before.
And then when you're done, I'm just going to let you sprinkle a little bit on top.
I'll try and just at least get one
Yeah,
side
you're
done.
fine. Olive oil and balsamic, I personally prefer. If you can find a fig balsamic, I know there are different ones around. Really, just truly brings out the flavor in all of it. You can vary your salt on this cheese. You can pull it and add salt directly to the cheese, or you could just continue to salt the water as I did. If your water runs low, fill it up, keep it hot, and just keep working.
Well, we'll do half with the basil. Now, let me ask you
Absolutely.
this:
Yes.
if you
Right over here, if
don't
that's
want to
okay.
do the cheese curd, because you said that was a difficult process, would you? Is there like a stage that you can buy that in?
Well, funny you should say that, because I plan on selling the curd that I make. I have found curds. They're more of a harder cheese mozzarella versus a soft, fresh, milky that you end up with. I know there are curds around. I just don't know of any
Well,
that give
I
you
can't
this
wait until
end
you
product.
start doing that, because that is a fun process to get your hands dirty and really go
And you
from the very
can-
beginning to the end.
Here we go.
Little drizzle.
You drizzle.
Now, what are you
This is
doing
the
in the
olive
next
oil.
segment for us?
The next segment, I'm making a fresh marinara sauce over pasta. Very simple, very easy, very fast. We made Gina's Homemade, created it because people didn't realize you could have fresh, good food quickly. And as long as it takes you to the store and buy prepared food, you can make it at home quite quickly.
Oh,
So
sorry. I
I'll
was
be
waiting
making the
for it.
marinara. We thought we'd do a 3-course meal for you today.
I love it. I'm sorry. There's like
They're fine.
goopy down at the end. I didn't know how much was in there.
Absolutely.
But that looks amazing. And Gina's Homemade is sold online and at Valley's.
Whole Foods.
At Whole Foods as
Whole
well.
Foods.
And also farmers markets. So you're going to see it there at Whole Foods. And are you also going into AJ's as well?
Well, we'll see. Hopefully,
Fingers
Oakville
crossed,
Grocer
fingers
is
crossed.
Keeping us cityscape when they open. Oakville Grocer, Urban Market.
All right.
different
Well, we'll
places.
stick around. We'll let you clean up, and then we'll
Absolutely.
transition.